be reading together the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 2, text 12. Text 12. And we will start by invocation. And I have here a second voice of my wife, so I think the second voice will be here also.
Good. Sounds good.
Akorát už možná přijít trochu blíž, protože to je na ten. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiret. Nastapreshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati utama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So today is May 6th, 2022, and we are reading from the Bhagavatam 3 to 12. Third canto, chapter 2, text 12. And we start by the Sanskrit words separately. And I think I have the second voice here still. So, Yat, Martya, Lila Upaikam, Svayogamaya Balam, Darshayata, Grihitam, Vishmapanam, Svasya, Cha, Sobhaga Hride, Padam, Bhushana, Bhushana Angam, and line by line. Yan Martya Lilopaikam Svayoga, Maya Balam Darshayata Grihitam, Visma Panam Svasya Cha Sobhaga Hridehe, Param Padam Bhushana Bhushanangam, Yan Martya Lilopaikam Svayoga, Maya Balam Darshayata Grihitam, Visma Panam Svasya Cha Sobhaga Hride, Param Padam Bhushana Bhushanangam, Yan Martya Lilopaikam Svayoga, Maya Balam Darshayata Grihitam, Visma Panam Svasya Cha Sobhaga Hride, Param Padam Bhushana Bhushanangam,
Marchilila Paikam Svayoga, Maya Balam Darshayata Grihitam, Vismapanam swasya cha sobhagardhe.
Smapanam swasya chaso bhagavde.
Parampadam bhushana bhushanangam.
Param bhushana bhushanangam. Yadmatyalino paikam swayogam.
Yanmartya lila paikam svayoga.
Maya balam darshayita grihitam.
Maya balam darshayata grihitam.
Vishmapanam swasya chaso bhagavde.
Vismapanam swasya chasto bhagardhe.
Param bhushana bhushanangam.
Param padam bhushana bhushanangam.
Yanmartalila Kaikam Swayoga
Marjalila paikam svayoga.
Maya Balam Darshayata Grihitam
Maya balam darshayata vihitam.
Vismapanam Swasacha Sobhagadi
Vismapanam swasya chaso bhagardhe.
Param Bhusana Bhusanangam
Param padam bhushana bhushanangam.
Someone else online wants to chant? Okay, so words and translations, so-called synonyms. Yat,
Yat,
his eternal form which.
his eternal form which.
Martya,
Martya,
mortal world.
mortal world.
Lila upaikam,
Lila upai,
just suitable for the pastimes.
just suitable for the pastimes.
Svayoga maya balam,
Svayoga maya bala,
potency of the internal energy.
potency of the internal energy.
Darshayata,
Darshayata,
for manifestation.
for manifestation.
Grahitam,
Krihitam,
discovered.
discovered.
Vismapanam,
Vismapanam,
wonderful.
wonderful.
Svasya,
Swasya,
of his own.
of his own.
Cha,
Cha,
and
and
Sobhagahride,
Sobhagaride,
of the opulent.
of the opulent.
Param,
Param,
supreme.
supreme.
Padam,
Padam,
ultimate stand.
ultimate stand.
Bhushana,
Bhushana,
ornament.
ornament.
Bhushana angam,
Bhushana angam,
of the ornaments.
of the ornaments.
Translation. The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency, Yogamaya. He came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone, even for those proud of their own opulence, including the Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha. Thus, his, Sri Krishna's transcendental body is the ornament of all ornaments. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In conformity with the Vedic hymns, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam, the personality of Godhead is more excellent than all other living beings within all the universes in the material world. He is the chief of all living entities. No one can surpass him or be equal to him in wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, or renunciation. When Lord Krishna was within this universe, he seemed to be a human being because he appeared in a manner just suitable for his pastimes in the mortal world. He did not appear in human society in his Vaikuntha feature with 4 hands because that would not have been suitable for his pastimes. But in spite of his appearing as a human being, no one was or is equal to him in any respect in any of the 6 different opulences. Everyone is more or less proud of his opulence in this world, but when Lord Krishna was in human society, he excelled all his contemporaries within the universe. When the Lord's pastimes are visible to the human eye, they are called prakata. And when they are not visible, they are called aprakata. In fact, the Lord's pastimes never stop, just as the sun never leaves the sky. The sun is always in its right orbit in the sky, but it is sometimes visible and sometimes invisible to our limited vision. Similarly, the pastimes of the Lord are always current in one universe or another. And when Lord Krishna disappeared from the transcendental abode of Dvaraka, it was simply a disappearance from the eyes of the people there. It should not be misunderstood that his transcendental body, which is just suitable for the pastimes in the mortal world, is in any way inferior to his different expansions in the Vaikuntha lokas. His body manifested in the material world is transcendental par excellence in the sense that his pastimes in the mortal world excel his mercy displayed in the Vaikuntha lokas. In the Vaikuntha lokas, the Lord is merciful toward the liberated or Nitya Mukta living entities. But in his pastimes in the mortal world, he is merciful even to the fallen souls who are Nitya Baddha or conditioned forever. The 6 excellent opulences which he displayed in the mortal world by the agency of his internal potency Yoga Maya are rare even in the Vaikuntha lokas. All his pastimes were manifested not by the material energy, but by his spiritual energy. The excellence of his Rasa Lila at Vrindavan and his household life with 16,000 wives is wonderful even for Narayan in Vaikuntha, and is certainly so for other living entities within this material mortal world. His pastimes are wonderful even for other incarnations of the Lord, such as Sri Ram, Nrsimha, and Varaha. His opulence was so super excellent that his pastimes were adored even by the Lord of Vaikuntha, who is not different from Lord Krishna himself. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ainana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttaparakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganara Gunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Laguna Shri Vishaghan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpata Rubhyascha Kripa Siddhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prestaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine, Namaste Sarasvate Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunevari Paskete Desha Tarine. Okay. So here we have a description of the Lord, and we can go through what Prabhupada writes in the purport. So he provides a description of the qualities of the personality of Godhead. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam ekoyo bahudam vidadati kaman. So these are the qualities of the personality of Godhead. So he is lasting and he is conscious in the same way that we as spirit souls are eternal and conscious. And further, he is the one who supplies for all other living entities. So these are some of the qualities of the personality of Godhead. And he has more qualities. Prabhupada writes here that he is full in wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Aishvaryasya samagrasa, viryasya yasasastriya, jnana vairagya yoshchaiva. So we are trying in the material world to expand our wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, renunciation. At the same time, one who has all these qualities in full, that means that no one can surpass him or be equal to him in these qualities, is the personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. Because what exists in the result must also exist in the cause. So it makes sense. It's quite logical that the cause of all causes is containing all these opulences. And I've noticed here, Prabhupada uses the words par excellence, and I was reminded by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, because that's the language he was using. He was describing the pastimes of Krishna as super excellent pastimes, and yes, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta writes about the first hymn in the Brahma Samhita. I will read a small part of what he writes. The first hymn will establish the supremacy of the absolute truth. If his substratum is not shot by the bullets of limited time, ignorance, and uncomfortable feeling, as well as by recognizing the same as an effect instead of accepting him as the prime cause, he will be satisfied to mark that the object of their determination is the par excellence Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, who has eternally embodied himself in his ever-presence, all blissful, all pervasive, perfected knowledge, as the very fountainhead of all prime causes, of unending, non-beginning time, the supplying fosterer of all entities, this mundane and transcendental. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is supplying fosterer of all entities, of both those in the material world, which is us, or at least me. Maybe it's not my wife, but it's me. And yes, he's also the cause of the unending, non-beginning time. There is no beginning and end to the time. The time is or flows and provides the background of the material nature. And actually the time and the material nature are the causes of the uncomfortable feeling that every one of us is very familiar with within this material nature. So this is the description provided and it relates to the first verse of the Brahma Samhita. Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishnaha Sachit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govindaha Sarvakarana Karanam. So that points out to those qualities. Sarvakarana Karanam, the cause of all causes. Anadir Adir Govindaha. So he is the Lord Govinda, the Supreme Godhead. And he is the origin of all, and he has no other origin. So that's the definition of the prime cause of all causes. And he is Sachit Ananda Vigraha. He is a form full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, that's the same. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabis. Tabirya Evanija Rupataya Kalabi, Goloka Evanivasati Akilatma Bhuto, Govindam Ari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So this relates to the further part of the purport that Srila Prabhupada is describing here. So there are various forms of the Lord's presence, and here it's divided into two types. So the first type is prakata, and the other is aprakata. So these are both the Lord presence, and the example that Prabhupada gives is the sun. So the sun is always there, at least within our limited lifetime. The sun is always there, and the sun never leaves the sky. At the same time, there are moments during which we see the sun with our limited senses, and there are also moments during which we don't see the sun with our limited senses. So this is the prakata and aprakata presence. So it is said that Lord Krishna is always present in Vrindavan, and he can be present there in his prakata presence, like his childhood pastimes, or he can be present there in his aprakata presence. He is present there in his he is present there in a way which is not recognizable by our senses. So he is present there in the heart of the devotees. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santak Sadaiva Hrdayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achinta Guna Svarupam Govindam Ari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So he resides in the heart of all, not just the devotees, of all. And further, we get to know that the Lord's pastimes don't ever stop. Why? Because it's fun for him. It's his enjoyment, and it can be our enjoyment also, because we are always seeking for happiness, enjoyment, fun, excitement. Yes, and like we are seeking strength, beauty, fame, renunciation, knowledge, and all those things. And we can find them in a pure and full form in the Lord. Yeah, so pastimes of the Lord are always happening in one universe or some other universe. So yes, and okay, so what is the prakata presence of the Lord in this age? That's my question. Who wants to respond? What is the prakata presence of the Lord in this age that is available to us right now?
Can I ask a question first? Can I ask a question?
Sorry, I did not hear.
Can I ask a question first?
Oh, yes.
Okay, because about the prakata and aprakata, there is all it says the pastime of the Lord are always happening somewhere as prakata, but isn't it that in the form of aprakata unmanifested, they're always in every universe happening? Or
Yes.
not?
Yes, that's my understanding. Like they are happening in Vrindavan all the time, and that it's my understanding that relates to all the replica Vrindavans in all the universes. So,
but as aprakata, not prakata, and prakata is only one universe at a time. Okay.
I don't want to limit the Lord to be able to be in just one universe in his prakata presence. So he's at least always somewhere.
Is always somewhere. And the prakata form one of the form we have is the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Oh yes, oh yes, yes, yes. Like all the forms of the Lord that we can perceive by our senses. So we could mention Srimad Bhagavatam. I think that's, and yeah, and more.
The holy name.
The holy name, yes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the holy name is manifest in the sound form, right? Because I might think, okay, so the Lord needs to appear so I can see him with my eyes, but he can also appear in different forms, and the holy name in this form of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a sound form of the Lord. It's an incarnation of the Lord. Okay. So let's go further. Thank you for your question and responses.
I thought the comment on the one universe at a time. My understanding would be, actually, it would be many universes at a time, because like there's some universe where Krishna is appearing in the dungeon of Kamsa right now. There's some universe where Krishna is engaging with the Putana pastime. There's some universe where he's dancing with the gopis. So just like there's like some place right now where it's 12 noon, and some place where it's 12:01 and 12:01 and 50 seconds, like that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. So yes, because it's fun, right? These are the loving exchanges with his devotees. Okay, and here in the purport further, we get to know that the Lord manifesting himself in the material world is more merciful than the Lord manifesting himself in the Vaikuntha lokas, because he manifests himself towards the criminals, basically. So similarly, as a president might visit a prison, so this is his mercy, and it's his bigger mercy than he giving a speech on some square, let's say. Similarly, if the Lord appears, his appearance in the mortal world is more merciful, because he manifests himself towards the fallen souls. The issue is, it's the issue of the fallen souls, that they might not recognize him. And the example is again with the sun. So I can see the sun, not right now in Czech, but sometimes we can see the sun. And still, I think the sun is like a small disk. But that's what I can perceive with my senses. But someone with more knowledge can explain to me that the sun is actually much bigger than the whole planet Earth, and that's fiery, there's high temperature and all those things. So and here we get to know also, which is quite interesting, that the qualities, the opulences that Krishna displays in the mortal world by the agency of his internal potency these are rare even in the Vaikuntha lokas. So these are special pastimes, like Krishna lifting the Govardhan hill. This is a very special pastime. Krishna stealing the butter from the butter pots. Yes. Yes, and these pastimes are culminating in his Rasa Lila in Vrindavan, and then further his pastimes in Dwaraka with the 16,000 wives, and these are wonderful even for Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha. So these are wonderful even for the expansions of the Lord in the Vaikuntha planet. So this is how special these pastimes are. And yes, and yes, and here in the text, in the translation, Prabhupada translates, these pastimes were wonderful for everyone, even for those proud of their own opulence. So in this material world, we are here because we are proud. We want to be proud of something which is actually not ours. So yes, and it's how come? Okay, how come? There is a verse in Bhagavad Gita. It's chapter 16, text 10, and Krishna says, Kamam ashrita dushpuram damba mana madan vitaha mohad grhit vasad grahan pravartante shuchi vrataha. And the translation is, the demoniac taking shelter of insatiable lust, pride, and false prestige, and being thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. So we are driven by our lust, pride, and false prestige. And the words in the text is Damba Mana Madanvitaha. Damba means pride, Mana, false prestige. So I want to look famous. This comes to the six opulences of the Lord, because ultimately we are part and parcel of the Lord. So we have a minute quantity of these qualities as well. So, and in the material world, we are seeking a taste of those qualities. And because we are misidentifying, that means we don't know who we are, and we don't know what is ours and what is not, then we are suffering, as Bhaktisiddhanta wrote in the text that I read before. We have those uncomfortable feelings. So that's the Damba, pride, and the process of Bhakti Yoga cultivates our spiritual knowledge. And what is real knowledge? Amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshantir, arjavam. So it starts with humility and pridelessness. So if we understand who we really are and what is really ours and which is not ours, then we can start actually some meaningful progress. And back to the text 10 of the chapter 16, it also uses the words mohat grhitva sadgrahan. Yes, and these are the words of that also Prahlad Maharaj uses. Tat sadhu manye suravarja dehinam sada samudvignadhiyam asadgrahat hitvatma patam graham andakupam vanam gato yadharim ashrayeta. So this is the asadgrahat. Asadgrahat means that we are trying to depend on which that will cease, or the asad, and then that brings a whole box of fears. So we are always fearful. Sada samudvignadhiyam, we are always fearful. And what's there further? Hitvatma patam. So that's the place where the self-realization, the spiritual progress stops. Hitvatma patam also means when the soul stops. Graham andakupam, it's like we fall in a ditch, in a blind well. Andakupam. Anda means blind. And Prahlad Maharaj recommends Vanam gato yadharim ashrayeta, to take shelter of Hari, to go to the forest and to merge in the spiritual consciousness, to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's the process that we are given in Bhakti Yoga. Yes. So this is the pride. This the misidentification based on lust, false prestige, sense of false prestige. Prahlad Maharaj's father, he was like an example of false prestige. And Prahlad Maharaj in that verse, he does not says, my dear father, he says, oh best of the demons. So because Prahlad Maharaj knows who is who, he knows that Hiranyakashipu is not his real father. That's just happening in the material world. Actually, his father is the Lord. His father is the Lord. Yes, and like the pride is connected with our endeavors for sense gratification, starting with the sex desire. Pumsam mituni bhava meta tayor mito hridaya grantim ahur atagra kshetra sutapta viteri janasya mohoya ahamameti. So we are thinking in the ways of this is me, this body is me, and this car, this house, this wife, these friends, this bank account, this food, the dog is mine, and I get to be proud. But like, if we are getting so many examples in Srila Prabhupada's books, how the Lord is actually wealthy. For example, like he owns not just this universe. So we are not talking that he owns like this big piece of land. He does not just own like the whole country, the whole continent, the whole planet, multiple planets, the universe. He actually owns all the universes, and there are so many universes as there are seeds in the bag of mustard seeds. And further, this material manifestation is thus 1/4 of his full manifestation. So what sense is the chase, is our chase to like want, okay, so as a student, okay, I thought I will be happy if I have on my bank account, I don't know, like $1,000, let's say. Okay, then as I grew, my income increased, and then I needed, so-called needed, for my happiness to have on my bank account at least $25,000, but still I was dissatisfied. So then I can be smart and set a goal. Okay, so $100,000 will make it. Then I will have a claim to feel proud, to be famous, to have the taste of wealth, because we are always seeking the taste. It's not about the numbers in the bank account themselves. It's about the taste experience that we are seeking. So if we are little intelligent, we recognize that this process will lead to a complete failure. Because even if I own like most of this material universe, or maybe the whole material universe, as Hiranyakashipu kind of had, I will be in sada samudvignadhyam, always anxious. And the funny thing is, in this way, the more I have, or I think I have, the more I'm anxious. So actually, some very rich people are very anxious. But also that there are people who are wealthy and are not anxious about their wealth. So, but if my consciousness starts with it that I don't have enough, then the more I will have, with the consciousness that I don't have enough, the more anxiety I will have. So that's a trick of Maya. And by the mercy of Prabhupada, we get to distinguish who has the most and who is the master, who is the servant. And Prabhupada gives the path to the real satisfaction of the soul, to the real happiness. And this is all there. And maybe I would like to close by, like, this is the goal, right? Associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because every one of us in the world, we have some thoughts, some conception about what will make us happy. What do I want to get, right? So we are trying for so many different things, and various people try for different things. But it's like all within the brackets of the wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, more or less. So this, we don't need to search further, basically, because we get to know the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is the source of all sources. And if we dovetail ourselves with him, then we get to experience the Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, the eternity, knowledge, and bliss that we have right to experience by the process Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayati Asu Vairagyam Yanam Chayat Ahaitukam. So by rendering this service unto the pure devotee, we obtain both knowledge and renunciation. So it's a complete process of transformation, and in this process we get to know who is us and who is the Lord. Hare Krishna. So I will read the text again, and then we will discuss. So this is the text 12 of chapter 2, canto 3. Yan martyali lopaikam svayoga maya balam darshayata grihitam visma panam svasya chaso bhaga hride param padam bhushana bhushanangam. The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency, Yoga Maya. He came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone, even for those proud of their own opulence, including the Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha. Thus, his, Sri Krishna's transcendental body, is the ornament of all ornaments. Hare Krishna, thank you for being here with us, with Prabhupada, with Bhagavatam, and now is the space. If you want to share something, ask something. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mother Malini.
I'm wondering, like, when we work with people, it's true that people, want or like are eager to get those opulence, like beauty, fame, riches, renunciation, all those opulence. And also often underneath that, there's another need. And like they are not, it's like the have to be. There is another need behind that. And I was wondering how that translates in Krishna consciousness. Because I don't think anyone just wants wealth to be wealthy, or like usually person want to be wealthy because they want love. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada says society, friendship, and love, and that intimacy that people are seeking in beauty, or the intimacy that they are seeking in being number one, or being famous, or being someone very important in a community, or like there is something, there's a juice, like Lord Chaitanya said, nectar for which we are always anxious. And so it's like, on one hand, there is what the text says, and in your class, that very proud of our opulence. But in another hand, even on a material level, even those opulence have something behind them. And I'm wondering how does that, like come to, really coming to the core of our attachment.
Yes, thanks. Yeah. So you described that that in this world I can try to be strong, rich, and famous, but if I'm a little bit introspective, I can find out that maybe I want to get rich because I want to feel safe. So there is more. Yeah, there is more. Yes, and like my understanding is the core is the search for the experience of Sachit Ananda Vigraha, Sachit Ananda, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. So the search for Sat. So one might search for freedom or independence, right? One might want to be like financially independent, right? Because there is this search for independence, and that is like it's like a perverted form of the seeking for Sat. And then there is the search for knowledge, the Chit, and the search for bliss, for the enjoyment, and like perverted form of the bliss is the material lust. So I need this, I must have this. So these are my thoughts.
Yeah. Sometimes in the seminar we say we are all looking for intimacy, closeness. You know, like in presenting the communication skill, we are all seeking closeness and intimacy. And we are seeking that in the wrong place through those opulence. And at the core of our material attachment is that desire. And it seems that what you're saying, okay, well, we are by nature Sakchit Ananda, eternal full of bliss and knowledge. And then like how to manifest that and seek those experiences that are our God-given or like just our nature, and to not be an illusion to fulfill them to the material energy.
Yes, yeah, like how to connect with the intimacy in the right way, right? And like the intimacy, like it's like experience in a relationship with the super soul. That's my sense. And like my experience is that by engaging in the process of bhakti yoga, I get more like feeling of intimacy without it being like sex desire or sex enjoyment, because you know I might try to fulfill the hankering for intimacy or the need to feel intimate, because that's my understanding. That's like one of the needs of the soul, and that's what like a natural for the soul to like feel the intimacy, and like the intimacy also like in a relationship with a pure devotee, to like establish a relationship that will not be destroyed by time. So that gives me like a sense of like safety, intimacy, closeness, I think, like associating more and more with the pure devotees, and also other devotees who have the same goal.
Thank you for your response. I feel very fulfilled by your response. Because often Prabhupada speak about Krishna consciousness and the intimacy to kind of develop that to our inner life of intimacy with the Lord, with the super soul, with the pure devotee, in a way that, like you said, an intimacy that's not crushed by time. Yeah, thank you.
I'm thinking in the discussion, you know, we use the paradigm, the have, do, be, and be, do, have. And that's what's coming to me here, that so in all that we seek to do and all that we seek to acquire and have, as I think the essence of in essence what you said, Melanie, all we seek to have, all we seek to do, we're always looking for an experience. We're always looking for a quality of being, of experiencing security, essentially Satchidananda, of experiencing fulfillment, peace, vitality, feeling valuable, feeling loved, being lovable, being loving, and yeah, being vibrant and alive and feeling complete. And that's the illusion, that if I just have something, then I'll feel complete. And so yeah, we're always looking for some experience, that, as St. Francis said, we're searching for what is searching. Those experiences that we're searching for and all the doing and acquisition, they're actually inherent parts of the diamond soul. And we experience them to the extent that we're engaged in bhakti, service to the source of all energies, super soul, Sri Krishna. And you know, I appreciated Yogesvara Prabhu, your understated expression that, like, yeah, like by the movements of time and the material modes, we have these uncomfortable feelings. So I really appreciate, because that's it, that we're falsely dependent on my experience of feeling secure, happy, joyful, satisfied, fulfilled, complete, free, liberated. We're dependent on some having or doing that's based on the material energy. And even like the example of Hiranyakashipu, his senses were so out of control, they drove him to control the entire universe, and he actually succeeded. He was the most successful materialist, but still he was so unsatisfied, because even if we get what we say we want, now we got it, but then time and the modes, they're going to move things. They're going to move things, and we know they're going to move things. So we're either hankering for something or lamenting we lost it, or even if we got it, then we know, oh, but the government's, I got that sum of money, but the government's going to tax it, or this envious person's going to take it. So there's always that samudvigna. There's always that, because things move. So we have those uncomfortable feelings, anxiety, stress, fear. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thanks for this expansion. Yes, like we always have some plan, and like there is nothing wrong with having a plan itself. The issue is we get emotionally dependent on the results of the plan, and then, as you say, the time moves things. The things change beyond our understanding and plan. So we are always presented with something that we did not expect, and then the more we are dependent, emotionally dependent on some particular result, the more anxiety and distress we feel. Like Hiranyakashipu, he was like in extreme anxiety, because there was his son, like a small boy, and Hiranyakashipu had no idea where his strength, his Shakti came from, and because he wanted to control all the living beings, but it seemed that Prahlad Maharaj was beyond his control. So he was in extreme anxiety because things weren't happening according to his plan.
He could control the entire universe, but not his 5-year-old boy.
Yes, very frustrating.
It's true.
Yeah, like as you have a very successful man, like let's say like a CEO, right? He controls so many people in his big company, and then he comes home, and at home there is his dog, and he goes to walk his dog, and the dog does different things that he wants the dog to do. And then there is his wife, and the wife does not smile all the time, and yes, so it's difficult. Okay, any more questions, sharings, realizations? Okay, like I'm quite happy that I managed to present this with a good speech, because I'm sick. I'm like really sick, and I'm fasting the whole day because I don't want to eat. So the mind is distracted, so the mind doesn't focus on the speech. So that helps. And I kind of knew that it will probably work. So something that looked unfavorable in the beginning, the illness, might be favorable after all. At the same time, don't wish me illness, please. Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for this wonderful association. I'm glad that we could delve together in Sachit Ananda pastimes of Prabhupada and the Lord. And I wish you a blissful day full of self-realization. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki,
Jai.
Shriya Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.